Tennesseans.com. Selling your vehicle is always fast and fair.
And a nice pedicure.
All done.
Don't trade in or sell by yourself. Go to WeBuyAnyCar.com now for a free online valuation. Get in, get out, get paid.
I was hit by a careless driver on my way to work. I hurt my neck, my back, fractured my tibia, had to have knee surgery, and was on crutches for almost a year. The other driver's car insurance, they tried to blame me. So I called Hughes and Coleman. They took care of everything and helped me through one of the toughest times of my life.
At Hughes and Coleman, we're ready to help. All you have to do is call 800-800-4600.
News is so much more than just reporting the facts. It's about telling the stories that make our community here in Middle Tennessee so special. And here at News 4 Nashville, we do just that. Positively Tennessee, presented by Don Kennedy Roofing.
Welcome back. Some Colorado zoo animals will soon begin receiving vaccinations against COVID-19. This is at the Denver Zoo. Primates and carnivores will be up first to receive a vaccine specifically made for animals. It's by American pharmaceutical company Zoetis that makes drugs for pets and livestock.
Because we want to provide the protection if we can, but we also want to make sure that we're taking it carefully to make sure that it's safe and effective for the diversity of species that we work with.
Yeah, so the zoo says they'll receive 40 doses at first so they can vaccinate 20 animals. Depending on how it goes, they may be able to vaccinate up to 100 animals by the end of the summer. Well, that does it for us here on News 4 at 4 o'clock. We still have a lot more news to get to. News 4 at 5 starts now.
We have breaking news now on News 4 at 5. An 8-year-old is dead after a shooting. The details we've just learned. And also more heartbreaking news. A teen dies after an ATV accident in Franklin.
We as the Franklin community absolutely we celebrate together. We also grieve together.
How the community is remembering Will Cherry. Plus, Tropical Storm Elsa makes landfall in Florida. Strong winds and rain are sweeping across the state. We have the latest on the storm's path. And in our area, the heat and humidity stays alive, but storms may give us relief. Our forewarned weather team has the forecast for your area. We're live and always working for you. News 4 at 5 starts right now.
News 4 Nashville starts now with this breaking news alert.
We begin News 4 at 5 with the parent's worst nightmare. A young child is dead after an accidental shooting. It happened earlier today in Goodlettsville on Elizabeth Court, the Long Hollow Place subdivision. That child was taken to Vanderbilt. That's where we find News 4's Carly Gordon. And Carly, this is tragic. What else can you tell us?
Well, Marius, that child was just 8 years old, an elementary school student who had his entire life ahead of him in terms of what happened. We don't know if the child shot himself or if somebody else was somehow involved. What we do know is that this is being called a horrible accident. Now, as you mentioned, this happened here on Elizabeth Court in Goodlettsville. You can see emergency responders hugging the child's dad, who put out a statement late this afternoon. He says, "We are beyond blessed with the outreach of love during this tragic time. Please give us space and time to process everything." Meanwhile, the principal at Braden School, Madison Creek Elementary, also put out a statement. He says, "Please join me in praying for the Bowling Constant family as they grieve the loss of 8-year-old Braden. He was full of energy and a friend to so many at MCE. What a blessing it was to see him every morning at breakfast, where I would pretend to steal his food just to see his smile light up the cafeteria. Braden left his family and our campus far too early. Rest in peace, young man. You are truly missed." Now, in terms of exactly what happened and who was at home at the time, we do expect to learn those details from investigators eventually, and as soon as we do, we'll bring them to you, Marius.
Carly, so tragic. Thank you. Of course, we're following this story very closely, and we're still waiting on more details. To follow along with updates, have our free News 4 app downloaded to your phone. To find it, search WSMV in the App Store. And before we get to more news of the day, we want to take a look outside and see what's going on out there. You see the screen, it's kind of wet out there. It's been cloudy all day long with the mix of showers. Forewarned Chief Meteorologist Lisa Spencer tracking these. And Lisa, what kind of be on this pattern for the rest of the week?
You got it. Umbrella is going to be your friend for the next few days because more showers are going to be streaming up from the south. And we see plenty of that still right here on our radar. Not as much as we had earlier, though. And that will be the trend this evening. It will diminish before we see more come across our area for tomorrow. Taking a look right here into Nashville, you can see those showers here along 65 and then continuing all the way up the interstate into Greenbrier. You've got some of that heavier rain and some showers continuing Smithville over to Sparta, back to Woodbury and down to McMinnville. You're seeing some of the rain, just some lighter showers around Altamont and a few others off to the west here around Linden. We're seeing some of that wet weather. This is helping to drop our temperatures across the area. Coming up, I'll show you how that will reflect in our 7-day forecast just ahead.
Tonight, the Franklin High School baseball team is grieving and remembering one of its own. 15-year-old William Cherry died yesterday afternoon after suffering multiple brain injuries due to an ATV accident that happened on Friday. News 4's Marissa Sulik talked to Cherry's baseball teammates today. Marissa, in such a short time, William touched the lives of so many.
He really did, Marius, and we'll get to that in just a minute. But today I talked with 7 of William's junior varsity teammates, and they say that William could light up a room. For them, it's hard to accept that he's gone, and they say when they get back to the regular season, it's going to feel like a piece is missing. Now, the team says they got word about the ATV accident over the weekend, but held out hope, saying they thought he would defy the odds. William was the third baseman on the team, and after William passed away yesterday, they say the family decided to donate his organs. In the end, he helped 8 patients in desperate need. His friends say that's the kind of person he is.
He's just such a giving person, like to a way lesser degree. He let me use his bat every game, so whenever I knew that he did that, it didn't surprise me. He's just a giving person.
Now, coming up on News 4 at 6, we'll have a full story on who William is and how his teammates and his coach are remembering him. Marius.
Marissa, thank you. And we want you to take a look at how many people are supporting William and his family. These are pictures of a vigil held at Franklin High School football field Monday night. This story is so heartbreaking. We know Williams, he was about to turn 16 next week.
Every single victim uncovered is somebody's child, somebody's mother, somebody's teacher, somebody's colleague, a classmate, a best friend. Our hearts break for those who are mourning and for those who are waiting and waiting.
The situation in Surfside, Florida gets more devastating each and every moment. The latest breaking news from the site, the search is now considered a recovery operation as hopes dwindle of finding survivors. Today, 10 more people were pulled from the rubble. The death toll is now at 46. No one has been rescued alive from the site since the first hours after the building collapsed. One of the victims of the collapse was an upcoming senior at Vanderbilt University. Services for Andreas Yannisopoulos are set. His memorial and visitation is this Friday in Houston. Then his funeral is Saturday. Andreas was found in the rubble last week. He was visiting his godfather at the time of the collapse. Also in Florida tonight, tropical storm Elsa has made landfall and has been stretching all across the state all day long. This is a live look from Jacksonville. We've been tracking these cameras all day. We haven't seen anything too intense other than some strong waves, dark skies, and as you can imagine, a ton of rain. In less than 10 minutes, we'll show you more parts of the state that were hit today. And we've told you about the governor's Tennessee on Me program and how it's offering plane tickets for people who book a 2-night stay in Tennessee. Well, some lawmakers and Tennesseans are saying we got to pump the brakes a little bit. News 4's Tosin Fakile is live right now. And Tosin, explain the governor's program and why some people are opposed to it.
Well, Marius, like you said, they're asking the governor, they're saying this is not the right way to use taxpayer dollars. And that's what lawmakers tell us and some Tennesseans that we spoke to. The Tennessee on Me plan basically is giving airline tickets to people who book a 2-night stay in 4 cities in the volunteer state.
We want to make it easier for you to come back.
The crowd cheered at the announcement when it was made, but people we spoke to don't necessarily share the same sentiment.
I honestly don't feel like this whole program or whatever this is an effective way to spend tax dollars.
Free plane tickets because they're booking hotels. That means that they were already going to come. So there's really no point in doing that.
Tennessee on Me program offers a $250 airline voucher to the first 10,000 people to book a minimum 2-night stay at a participating hotel.
Lee doesn't really care about Tennesseans, in my opinion.
Senator Heidi Campbell says there are things in the state like Department of Children's Service workers' caseload and gun violence that need more attention and tax dollars.
And despite what the governor is saying, this economy is not back to normal. And none of the underlying issues that make our families vulnerable have been addressed.
There's like housing situations, like why are you not implementing something like that? We can fund something for that.
The program applies to 4 cities: Knoxville, Memphis, Chattanooga, and Nashville. The governor's office said he was not available for an interview today, but they sent us this information. They say tourism is Tennessee's second leading industry and a huge economic driver statewide. This campaign will support our state's economic recovery and workforce growth. They went on to say this tourism development campaign is a one-time investment of $2.5 million approved by the legislature in the state's fiscal year 21-22 budget.
So I don't feel as though Nashville necessarily needs it. I do feel as though other cities in Tennessee could use it.
If we want to incentivize the economy and move the economy, let's invest in Tennesseans.
Now, we reached out to the Tourism Commissioner's office to ask exactly how this is going to work, Marius, and they told us people would have to go to TennesseeOnMe.com to book their hotel or the Nashville CVC reservations for the $250 airline voucher, and then those people who get it will be emailed their voucher within 24 to 72 hours. And this offer, Marius, is available until September 15th, or at least until this is available.